All right, today we're cracking open the Productivity Playbook. We're going to go through a set of strategies that are all about helping you reclaim your focus and, actually master your day. So, does this sound familiar? You've been glued to your desk for hours, right? Emails are flying in, notifications are going off, but when the day is done, you kind of lean back and think, wait, what did I actually get done today? It's that feeling of being busy but not productive, and it is incredibly common.
In fact, if you've ever found yourself just putting things off, well, you are in very, very good company. Research shows that this number, and it is a staggering 95%, is the portion of people who really struggle with procrastination.
That's right. And while a lot of studies focus on university students, let's be real. This is a human issue. It doesn't matter what your job title is. The battle for focus is something pretty much all of us are fighting. But the good news? It is absolutely solvable. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by digging into that productivity paradox. Then we'll get into the core idea here, deep work versus shallow work. After that, we get super practical with ways to tame your to-do list and understand the science of focus. And then we'll wrap it all up by showing you how to build your own personal system.
To really get a grip on our work, we need a better way to think about it. And honestly, the most powerful framework for this comes from the author Cal Newport. He argues that not all work is created equal. He splits it into two very distinct categories.
And here they are. On one side, you've got deep work, that focused, engaged brain. On the other side, you have shallow work, which is more like a chaotic storm of just stuff. Seriously, understanding the difference between these two is probably the single most important step you can take to get control of your day.
So what exactly is deep work? Well, think of it as the stuff that really moves the needle. It's challenging, it demands intense, single-minded focus, and it's where you create brand new value. This is you solving tough problems, learning a hard new skill, or producing your absolute best stuff. It's the kind of work that's really hard to replicate. And then there's shallow work. These are all the logistical things, right? Answering routine emails, setting up meetings, filling out expense reports. Look, they have to get done, but they don't take a ton of brain power, and you can often do them while you're distracted. The real danger here is that this kind of work can expand to fill your entire day if you let it.
Now this is where it gets really good. Newport gives us this formula, and it just completely reframes the whole goal. See, it's not just about spending more time working. It's about cranking up the intensity of your focus during the time you have. 1 hour of deep, uninterrupted work is just so much more valuable than 3 hours of scattered, shallow effort.
Okay, so with that framework in mind, let's get practical. How do you actually apply this to that monster to-do list that's staring you down? We're going to look at two simple but incredibly powerful methods for prioritizing what truly matters.
First up, we've got the Eisenhower Matrix. It's this brilliant decision-making tool that comes from, a former US president. And what it does is it forces you to sort your tasks not just by how urgent they feel, but by how truly important they are. And this lays out the 4 options so clearly. If something's urgent and important, you do it now. If it's important but not urgent, you schedule it for later. Urgent but not important, you try to delegate it. And if it's neither urgent nor important, you just delete it. Get it off your list. It's so simple but so effective.
Now, if that matrix feels a little too structured for daily planning, there's an even simpler method that is an absolute game changer for organizing your day. It's called the 1-3-5 rule. And the whole idea is to limit yourself to just 9 tasks a day. That's it. You pick one big task, that's your deep work for the day. Then you pick 3 medium-sized tasks and 5 small, quick-win tasks. This hard limit forces you to be realistic and keeps your goals achievable. And here's the thing. This isn't just some random rule. It's actually based on psychology. Research shows that our working memory can only juggle about 7 things at once. So, by limiting your list, you're preventing that feeling of cognitive overload and actually freeing up your brain to, do the work.
Okay, so you've picked out your most important tasks. Now comes the hard part, right? How do you actually protect your focus and get them done? Let's check out 2 techniques that are designed for exactly that: deep execution.
First up is the famous Pomodoro technique, which is just brilliant in its simplicity. You pick one task. Just one. You set a timer for 25 minutes, and you work with total, uninterrupted focus. When the timer goes off, you take a short 5-minute break. And after 4 of those cycles, you get to take a longer break, maybe 20 or 30 minutes.
What this does is it basically trains your brain to work in these focused sprints. It makes a huge, scary task
feels so much more manageable because you're only committing to 25 minutes at a time. And those short, structured breaks, they stop you from burning out and they keep your mind fresh.
Our second technique comes from a classic and kind of funny piece of advice from Mark Twain. It's called the Eat That Frog method. The idea is to tackle your biggest, hardest, most important task, your frog, first thing in the morning. That's your deep work for the day. Once you get that done, you've already had a huge win, and the rest of the day just feels easier.
Okay, so we've thrown a lot of ideas at you. How do you actually combine all of this? Well, the goal isn't to rigidly follow every single technique. It's about understanding the core principles so you can mix and match and build a system that is perfectly tailored to you. So think of this as your personal playbook. First, get clear on what's deep work and what's shallow work. Then, use a simple tool like the 1-3-5 rule to prioritize your day. And then, when it's time to actually do the work, protect your focus with something like the Pomodoro technique. The real key here is to just experiment, adapt, and find the combo that clicks for your brain and your life.
You know, maybe the best way to think about all of this is the pickle jar theory. Imagine your day is an empty jar. If you fill it up with sand first, all those little shallow distracting tasks, there's no room left for the big rocks. But if you put your big rocks, your most important deep work tasks in first, all the smaller stuff can just fill in the gaps around them.
So that leaves us with one last question for you. As you think about your day tomorrow, don't just think about everything you have to do. Think about what truly matters. What is the one big rock, the single most important task that you are going to place in your jar first?